Happy Tuesday, 7th grade. Just a few reminders. Make sure you do your attendance daily. Watch the video linked to my picture and check your emails. Our standard for today is about reading literature. It's 7.3. We're going to analyze how particular elements of a story or drama interact. Your learning target: I can analyze how parts of a work of fiction interact. Okay. So, the elements of fiction that you have to be aware of are setting, character, plot, and theme. And in the selection you're going to read today, you're going to think about how those different elements interact with each other. How would the selection be different if the setting was different, or if the characters were different, or if the theme was different? What if the time was different? What if this story took place in our current year? How would it be different? So what I want you to understand is setting, characters, plot, and theme, they all interact to develop that story. And depending on if things were different, they could send a different message. So let's go ahead and get started talking about these different elements. Setting. In literature, the setting is the surroundings and the time in which the events of a story take place. In other words, setting is time and place. You have some examples below of some works of fiction. War and Peace. It was set in Russia during the Napoleon Wars. A Christmas Carol, that drama. It was set in Victorian era London. And The Wizard of Oz is a fictional work that took place in the land of Oz. Okay. The setting answers the following three questions. Where does the story take place? When does the story take place? And what are the conditions like in this time and place? Okay. Characters. All right. What is a character? Okay. A character is an individual in a story. If the story is about a world, the character or the population. Think about the story of Rumpelstiltskin, who helps a poor miller's daughter pretend to spin straw into gold and then demands her firstborn child in return. Rumpelstiltskin, the miller, and the miller's daughter, even the firstborn child, are all characters. Okay? There are different types of characters, and these types of characters can have an impact on the selection. Okay? There's a central character. This is the most important character in the story. Okay? There's secondary characters. They appear in the story, but they're not the main focus. There's the protagonist. The protagonist is the leading figure, the champion, the main character in the story. Okay? The antagonist. The antagonist is the one who comes in conflict with the protagonist. I guess you can say they are always the opposition. There are flat characters. These characters have little depth, little information on feelings or behavior. Then you have round characters. These characters appear to be like real people. You find a lot of detail about them. You get to pretty much know about their physical traits, their internal traits, how they're feeling, how they're thinking. They're well developed. Okay? A sympathetic is relatable, someone you can relate to. An unsympathetic is someone that you can't relate to. A dynamic character changes throughout the story. Okay, an example was The Christmas Carol. Scrooge changes throughout the story, so he is a dynamic character. A static character is someone who stays the same. throughout the entire story. Okay, next, plot. The plot is nothing more than the sequence of events in the story. Okay, it starts with an exposition. This is when the author gives you background information to help you get a clue of what's going on in the story. Then you have your rising action, a series of crises that lead to the climax. Now, the climax is the most exciting moment of the story. This is where both people and events change. Falling action are the events that follow the climax. Things are beginning to come to a close. And the resolution is the conclusion in which all of the tensions of the plot are resolved. Okay, and next we have theme. Okay, the theme is the subject or the big idea of a story. It tells you a lesson about life. Okay, how is a theme woven into a story? It can be through sentences, details, and words. It can be through the plot, through the setting, through the characters and their character development. It engages with other aspects of the story. So the theme impacts the plot and the characters. Because remember, we're talking about today how different elements of fiction interact with each other. Okay, so a theme is a major player. Okay, there are many types of themes: love and friendship, loss, the importance of family, learning to be a hero, growing up, justice and injustice. Examine these questions to find themes. What topic, big question, are the characters in the story struggling with? How do different scenes in the story convey the same thing? And what details are the author used to represent the theme? Okay. Now, for your assignment today, you're going to be reading 3rd Century Woman. I want you to go ahead and set up your notebook with today's date, 8/25. Make sure you have characters, setting, what would be different if characters were different, what would be different if it took place in 2020. And make sure that you answer those questions for today. That's how we're going to close today. Okay? In order to get 100 on this assignment, you have to have your 2-column notes. They're worth 50 points. And you have to complete those questions for today. They're worth 50 points. Okay? And we're headed to Canvas. Let's get to the directions. Okay? Your teach and learn. You're going to read 3rd Century Woman. And I already showed you how you're going to set it up in your notebook. And I already put the different questions down there for you. Okay? Let's think about it. How would the theme impact the actions of the characters? Okay? Use details from the selection to support your answer. Alright? So, that's it for today. Make sure you get this turned in on time, hopefully. And also go back and try to get your prior assignments turned in so you can get caught up. Alright, once again, if you have any questions, email me, Google Voice me.